Hey guys, it's Tater or BHA here, bringing you a new video. So the great folks over at Eufy sent me over one of their new 2K video door locks. That's pretty awesome. This thing will actually combine kind of everything all into one. It has a doorbell feature, it has a camera, and it has a door lock with a rechargeable battery to top it all off. That is pretty awesome. We're going to take a look at this thing and see what all we can do with it. Now again, this thing is not in full production yet, and it's not even fully available for purchase. As you can see behind me, this thing is currently in Kickstarter. They're hoping to go in production very soon. I'll have the link in the description below for this Kickstarter. You can head over there and check it out and see what's currently going on with that Kickstarter. Here we go. Alright guys, let's do a quick run through of everything we're going to cover in this video. So of course, for starters, we will unbox the door lock. Once we do that, then we'll basically kind of go through the steps of getting it installed. Should be pretty simple. Once we have it installed, then we will get it set up in the Eufy security app. Once we have it all set up, then of course we'll kind of go over all the configuration and things that you can do within the Eufy security app. And then lastly, I'll just kind of go over my final thoughts. In the meantime, if you haven't already, please jump down, hit that like, subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It helps keep this channel moving smoothly. Nonetheless, let's get started. All right, so let's start by unboxing the device. One thing I really like about Eufy products, at least the way they kind of market them, is they have a lot of information on the outside of the box. So it's pretty cool. There's a lot of details and stuff that they kind of list there on the box to kind of show you what all the product does and everything. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get this thing opened up. Look inside here. And right there on top, of course, that is the inside and outside units for this door locks. Obviously, you have a piece on both sides of the door, so this is the front and back units for this door lock. Let's see what else we got in here. This has, well, I'm not sure what that plug is. But this has the battery here. So this comes with a rechargeable battery, which is pretty cool because I'm used to having to change, batteries on my various smart door locks because obviously they die and have to be replaced. This thing is kind of neat because you can pull this battery out and charge it, and it should last for quite a while. This here is the Wi-Fi bridge that will also kind of work as the speaker for the doorbell. So like I said, this is a 3-in-1 unit. It has the camera, the smart door lock, and the doorbell kind of all built into one unit. And so this is kind of works as both a doorbell and a Wi-Fi bridge. So the door lock itself is only Bluetooth enabled, so it'll communicate with this Wi-Fi bridge here, which of course will allow you to control it from anywhere using the Eufy app. Let's see what else we got. So we got the deadbolt. Looks like various mounting screws and plates that we need for installation, as well as a set of keys. So this uses regular keys as well, so you can use those on the outside in case of emergency and maybe your battery's dead or something, or it's not communicating properly. But that's pretty much it as far as what all comes inside the box. I like the design of this thing. It's actually really sleek looking. I got the fingerprint reader right there on top, so pretty cool there. I'm excited about getting this thing installed. As far as specs, again, this is not in full production yet, still running a Kickstarter, so couldn't find a lot of detailed specs. In the meantime, I at least have this information that I pulled from their Kickstarter. So this is a 2K resolution camera, so that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that on very many, even smart doorbells, let alone any other kind of smart door lock that has a camera on it. Having that 2K resolution is actually pretty awesome. Of course, it comes with a fingerprint unlock. It does have auto lock, so you can set it to automatically lock after a period of time, so that's kind of nice. It looks like dual motion detection. It's got the backlight processing, everything that you would kind of mostly see in these things. It does have local storage, but it's interesting. The local storage is actually built into the Wi-Fi bridge. So the Wi-Fi bridge will take an SD card, and you can kind of store video footage and images and stuff from the camera inside the Wi-Fi bridge on that SD card. It does do the alerts and stuff through the Eufy security app, so that's pretty awesome as well. It says dust and waterproof, kind of obvious, IP65. That's pretty standard, especially for anything that's going to be outdoors. That $200 price tag, if that's going to be the final price, that is awesome. I mean, honestly, that's what you would pay pretty much for just a regular smart door lock. So the fact that you get all these features in one for that price is pretty amazing. I'm not going to lie on that one. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we'll get this thing installed. All right, so gonna try to run through the various installation steps. This thing is actually super easy to install, so I was actually surprised at how simple they made this thing as far as installation goes. One thing, it wasn't necessarily listed as the first step. I feel like it should be, and that is to make sure this battery is charged. So your battery takes about 6 hours to charge according to this, and so you're going to want to go ahead and probably first things first, plug this thing in and get this thing charging, because like I said, it's going to take a while to charge, and this thing does not take anywhere near 6 hours to install. So here I am, I got it plugged in. It's a red light. Initially it will be red. Once it's fully charged, the light will turn blue. So just kind of give you an idea. This does take a USB-C charger to charge, and surprisingly enough, the package does not come with a USB-C charger. Not a big deal. Obviously, I have a lot of those laying around the house for charging other devices, so that was an easy enough problem to fix. But you'll want to keep that in mind. You do need to have a USB-C charger to charge this battery. The next thing, of course, this is going to be installed on the outside door of my house, on the side door here. I currently have like an old Bluetooth semi-smart door lock. Obviously, it only works over Bluetooth, so there's no Wi-Fi and no bridge or anything. So I'm happy to kind of replace this with this new smart lock, especially the one that has the camera, so it's pretty neat. So we're going to be pulling this out, and we're going to replace it with this new lock here. So of course, the next steps for this will be to install the deadbolt and the strike plate. So we're going to do that here. As you can see, I've pulled the old door lock out, and here is the Eufy deadbolt already installed. So we're almost there, moving right along here. Very easy to install. Once I got everything out, it just kind of went right in place without any issue there. All right, so the third step is to get the outside component installed. So we'll put that in next. And as you can see, there it is. Basically, you install the outside unit, and then on the inside, it has like a plate that the inside unit will attach to that basically will just screw that together with the outside unit, and it worked just fine. Wires fit right through the hole without any problem. All right, so for the next step, we're going to install the inside unit. So this should be simple enough. There it is. It basically just kind of attaches to that inside plate that we already installed. And then, of course, it takes like one screw to get this thing kind of tightened in place. So that's pretty easy to do there. From there, we're able to hook up the wires and everything as we do that install. And then it just kind of fits right in place. Now, the last step that you really need to do as far as the door lock itself is just to install the battery. Basically, you're just going to come right over here, push it right into place. It kind of snaps in, and then it's got a cover to go on the outside of that. Pretty easy to do there. We'll just slide this cover back on there, and there it is, Eufy Security. That's it. Last and final step is the Wi-Fi bridge / doorbell chime that needs to be installed. So basically we already have the little plug piece attached to the back of it. We're going to find us an available plug somewhere in the house that's not too far away from the lock, because like I said, it uses Bluetooth to communicate with this bridge. But assuming you can find a decent place for that, you want it to be in an area in the house that everybody will be able to hear that doorbell chime and everything. So kind of keep that in mind as you're looking for a good place to install it. But that's it as far as installation goes. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we'll go over getting it added into the Eufy Security app. All right, so let's get this thing added into the Eufy Security app. So as you can see here on the left, I have the Eufy Security app opened up. And first things first, we're going to get the Wi-Fi doorbell bridge installed. So that's a Wi-Fi bridge. We'll select that there. And then, of course, it's asking for the QR code on the bottom of the Wi-Fi bridge. Now, all it's telling you is that, of course, your door lock and your bridge need to be within range of each other. And, of course, your bridge will need to be able to access the Wi-Fi network. If you haven't already, then, of course, you're going to install your plug on the back of it here. We already did that and got the antennas pulled out, so we're pretty much ready to go. Decide what Wi-Fi network or SSID you want it to be installed to. And then, of course, it wants us to hold down the sync button on the top of that bridge until the light starts blinking green. We'll do that here. And, of course, it starts searching for the Wi-Fi. And that's it. It's got it added. We can give it a name here. I'm just going to call it Eufy Bridge. And of course, based on the current location, it's complaining about the Wi-Fi signal, but that's okay because I'll probably end up moving it more central into the house, which will have a better Wi-Fi signal than right here on the outskirts of the house. But at this point, we're now ready to add the video door lock. So we'll hit next here. We've already got it installed, so we can go ahead past this step. Just like the bridge, this also has a sync button, so you're going to hold that sync button down just below the battery there. And then, of course, it gives us a QR code that we're going to put in front of the camera for that video door lock to scan. And basically, once it does that, it says added successfully. Now we can give it a location. We're going to say side door because that's kind of where I have it installed. And at this point, we are ready to calibrate the lock. Let's see, we got to set a passcode for my main account here. So I'm just going to give it a 4-digit code. Hit next. And now we are ready to start enrollment for my fingerprint. Of course, it's similar to what you would see like even on your iPhone. Basically, it's just going to have you put your fingerprint on there, lift it up, and put it back down, different angles and stuff, just to kind of get a full aspect of your fingerprint. But once you do all that, then you are done. Setup is complete. We now have our door lock added into the Eufy Security app. That's pretty much it for this step. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we'll kind of go through all the different configuration options and everything that's available to you for this door lock in the security app. All right, so let's go over the configuration in the app. There's a ton of features and things that you can do with this door lock inside the Eufy security app. You'd actually be kind of surprised what all it actually is able to do. All right, so let's start with the Wi-Fi bridge. As you can see, it actually shows it is connected to that door lock. There's a section for storage. Now, if I had an SD card or micro SD card plugged into the Wi-Fi bridge, then of course this would show the storage there. And as you can see, it will handle up to 128 gigs capacity. So if you're looking for some local storage for recordings and stuff from the camera on the door lock, this is where you would put that storage. So under audio settings, all right, this is where you set the volume, like for the door chime and the alerts that you get from the doorbell chime. There's a couple of different tone options there. All right, under notification, this is where you can set your push notifications as far as what you'll get notified for. And then under general, of course, this is just kind of gives you your information on the Wi-Fi bridge itself. So if you wanted to change the Wi-Fi, you can do that here. Under time settings, of course, you can change the time zone and time format if you wanted to. And then under about device, this is where it kind of gives you all of your device information, and of course the ability to update the firmware if you needed to. Moving back into the actual door lock itself, let's click on that. And as you can see at the bottom, that's your ability to record and take screenshots if you wanted to. You also have the ability to speak back and forth with the speak button, and of course as the audio as well. We click on the settings in the top corner. We click on motion detection. This is where you can set the type of detection you want, if you want all motion or human only. And then you also have the ability to set loitering detection and leaving detection. So I'm going to enable loitering detection there. If somebody's kind of standing outside the door, I'll at least get an alert for that. Let's see, under quick response, I'm not exactly sure what that is, so we're going to leave that one alone for now until I can get some further clarification on what quick response is. Power manager. This is, of course, you can see it's showing 100% on the battery status right now. But you have different options for working mode as far as what all you want this thing to do. I have mine set up for optimal surveillance. It's not the best for battery life, but it's better than some of the other options. For auto lock. So this is where you can set your door lock to automatically lock after a period of time. So I have that enabled. Basically, if somebody goes into the house, shuts the door, after 3 minutes, my door lock will automatically lock. I kind of like that feature. Just kind of keeps that door locked, or assures that the door will stay locked most of the time. I also like the one-touch locking feature. If you don't have this enabled, when you're outside of the house, you have to type in the code, your PIN code or whatever, to lock the door. But if you use one-touch locking or have that enabled, then you can basically hold down the lock or cancel button. Those are the buttons in the bottom corner, and just hold those down and it will lock the door for you. I like that feature. I think that's the best way to do it. I use a similar feature on a lot of my other smart door locks, so that works pretty well. wrong try protection. Again, this is enabled by default. I think it's a pretty good one to have. It's set at 5 attempts. Basically, if you type the password wrong 5 times, it will lock out for 3 minutes. And you can play around with that setting if you want to increase the number of tries or how long it's locked out. You certainly have the ability to do that here as well. Scramble passcode. This is an interesting feature, and I haven't played around with it yet. I'd be kind of curious to see how well it works. But basically, if you have this turned on, then when you go to type in your PIN code, you can actually add characters at the beginning or the end of your PIN code. I think there's like a 12-digit limit, and it will still take the code and let you in. And so that's kind of neat if you're trying to hide what your code is. People are standing nearby. You don't want them to pick it up from what you're typing in. You can add in some extra characters and it will still work. All right, so let's move on down to video settings. This is where, of course, you have the ability to modify the video quality, remove the Eufy logo if you wanted to, and also change the recording quality as well. So I have the settings set as default right now with WDR enabled. Under recording quality, I set it for full HD. It's not the highest recording quality. Obviously, 2K HD at the top there is the highest quality, but of course it takes up a lot more storage as well. And again, this ties back to your SD card. So as I told you before, I don't currently have an SD card in there, but once I add one, then of course this will be the quality of video that will be recorded to that SD card. All right, under audio settings, this is where you can decide whether or not you want to record the audio or not. And the doorbell audio volume and stuff like that can be set here as well as a lock sound. Under notification, this is another way that you can add in what notifications you want to receive, like on human detection, or if when people are leaving, or if you just want to get an alert every time there's motion sensed at all, you can do that as well. By default, it does have like the doorbell ring is pushed or the door is locked or unlocked. You will get notified on those. And I have it set to include thumbnail in that, so it will take a thumbnail from the camera and send that as part of the notification. You could choose to turn that off if you didn't feel like you needed that, but I prefer to have that on, and it is on by default. Here's another cool feature that I like. If you have an Alexa device, you do have the option to use Alexa as your doorbell chime if you want. So basically you would set up the Eufy add-on in the Alexa app. And once you've synced your Eufy account with Alexa, then you can set up the chime to point to your Alexa device. And every time you open and close the door, Alexa will actually go off, which is kind of cool. If you have a lot of Alexa devices, this may be beneficial for you. All right, so under General, this is where, of course, you can change your name. You can go through the mounting guide if you want. Obviously, we've already installed it, so we don't need to do that. And, of course, this is where you'll also find out the information on the device. You also have the ability to update the firmware. We'll go ahead and check the firmware update here. Looks like it's currently up to date, so we're good to go there. Other than that, back on the main screen here, if you click on Manage Access, this is where you can add users. So basically fingerprints, PIN codes. This thing will handle up to 50 different fingerprints. So that's pretty cool. So you can have a lot of users on here with various fingerprints, and it will handle all that for you. So that's a nice feature to have when you want to have a lot of people using this door lock. But that's pretty much it. Here's a side view of the camera just so you can get a larger picture of what that quality looks like. Not too bad. Kind of a fishbowl effect on that camera, but it's great for when people are coming up to the door. You can see them pretty easily, so I like that. Let's go ahead and move on to the last step, and we'll kind of go over my final thoughts. All right, so just to try to go over my final thoughts, for me, I have a lot of positives for this particular video door lock. $200 on the price is pretty awesome. When you kind of get that three-in-one combination of the door lock, the camera, and the doorbell all in one, it really turns out to be a great deal. It handles up to 50 users and fingerprints, so that's a super plus if you have a large family or if you have a lot of people that'll be going in and out the door. It's extremely responsive, and on top of all this, it has a rechargeable battery, so you're not having to buy and change out batteries all the time. You can just plug it in, recharge it, stick it back in there, and it works great. Definitely a win-win. Now, this is still not in full production stage yet, so you're going to want to follow the Kickstarter to see what all's going on and when this thing will move into a full production mode. But if you're looking for a smart door lock, this is definitely one that you're going to want to check out. And I'll have the link for everything in the description below, along with Eufy's website. Because as I always say, if you're not interested in this particular item, Eufy has tons of other products that you're going to want to check out, and I guarantee you'll find something you're looking for.
As always, I want to thank everybody for donating to my Buy Me a Coffee link. Every little bit helps. If you haven't had a chance, jump over to my spring merchandise page and check out all the Burns home automation merchandise. And as always, check out Smonet and see what deals they currently have running on their site. I'll have the link in the description below for that as well. And if you're interested in buying and selling stock or maybe cryptocurrency, check out Robinhood. I'll have the link in the description below for that as well. And if you sign up with that link, you and I both will get a free share of stock. It's a win-win for both of us. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. As always, if there are any videos out there that you would like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around.